I think it's time to talk about the Lakers because we've given them the benefit of the doubt for a while now. And I think it's enough. The Lakers were supposed to rule the Western Conference, but instead they're sitting at 500 on the record right now and aren't looking to be a contender for the championship. Welcome to the NBA Recap. Thanks for stopping by. I'm your host, Evan, and if you are new to this channel, we do this every single day. So if you want to stay intact with all the NBA games and news, like and subscribe. So today we are going to be talking about the Lakers' dilemma, the uprise in random players having scoring outbreaks, and the amazing games from Steph Curry and LeBron James. So without further ado, let's get into it. To start it out, we have the Eastern Conference matchup of the Hawks versus the 76ers. Tobias Harris is in this one, and he had a game for himself, 16 points. But a person who had an amazing game was Joel Embiid, who had a 23-point game, 10 rebounds, and secured a close spot in the second quarter as him and his 76ers really closed the gap. It was 32-18 to start it out in the first quarter, and then in the second they closed it out to make it 33-19 on the scoreboard. An amazing layup there by Tobias Harris, getting through two defenders backing up and then turning around for the layup. Nice play from him. Steal from Sixers and a dunk to finish out the run. As that was in the second quarter, 33-19, and then 24-28 in the third. As they went up and in, Tyrese Johnson, amazing. Tyrese Maxey, amazing. As Cam Reddish was in this one, as the big thing was that Trae Young was out of it, Lou Williams was out of it, and they couldn't really do phenomenal, but they did as well as they could, as Cam Reddish at 18 and John Collins at 17. As this came close, Philadelphia was in 2 points with 5 seconds left for the win. Seth Curry goes in, passes out to Embiid for the win. No! It just rims out as the Philadelphia 76ers have to settle to a 98-96 loss, as they go to 16-16 on the year, as the Hawks go to 15-16, closing the gap on the 76ers. As right now, the Sixers are in 7th place, but the Hawks are right behind them in 9th. As the 76ers do need to watch out because they are tied with the Celtics right now and the Hornets. So I don't think they have as much leverage as they think they do, as the gap is closing on, as they have some time to get up there or lose it. I think this one was one that they could have won, but they didn't. The Hawks let in rebounds and turnovers, but only by 2, as both teams did a really good job of containing their turnovers, as both of them had a good game overall. Now we are staying in the East as we go to Milwaukee and Dallas, as it was Bucks versus Mavericks. So to start it out, Chris Middleton and the Bucks have lost 5 games without Giannis Antetokounmpo, as he is in COVID protocols right now. Amazing behind dunk right there. But they haven't been amazing, right? They had DeMarcus Cousins literally starting today. Chris Middleton was had 26, 7, and 5. Jrue Holiday 24 and 7. And what I was saying at the start, we're going to be talking about the players who had an uprise randomly. DeMarcus Cousins is one of them. This guy came out of nowhere, and we haven't seen him all year, and he signed to the Bucks apparently. I didn't even really know that because he was kind of irrelevant. DeMarcus, though, with 22 points today, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists, as he had a day for himself. As he's not been that good this year, but he's had an upbringing recently. Jrue Holiday had 24, like I mentioned before. Their bench gave almost no help. Same with the rest of their starting lineup. They had the big 3 guys with Holiday, Cousins, and Middleton all scoring over 20, and then the rest of their lineup, no one else scored over 9. as the Mavericks had multiple guys. They had their whole starting roster scoring over 12, but no one scored 20, as Jalen Brunson did have 19, 13 from Mikel Krish from the bench. But it wasn't enough to get by the Milwaukee Bucks, as they won 102-95. As the Bucks can finally break that losing streak without Antetokounmpo. Hopefully he can come back for the Christmas Day game, as it was 20. As the Bucks moved to 21-13, and the Mavericks moved to 15-16. The Bucks had one more turnover, but it did not contribute at all, as they had more rebounds, more assists, a higher 3-point percentage, higher free throw and field goal percentage, as they shot really well from free throw, as Chris Middleton went 8 for 8, 5 for 7 from Boogie and Holiday, as not the best 3-point shooting day around the board for both teams, but they can settle with that. Now we go to our next game. To start it out, we have a problem, right? The Lakers have been bad. One other thing, this is the last day for Staples Center being named Staples Center. At 20 years, the stadium has a lot of history with the name, a lot of history just in general. As on the next game that they play in LA, it will be called Crypto.com Arena, as it's sad to see it go. It's the end of an era, but I personally don't really think it's that big of a deal. As Rajon Rondo also just moves away from a poster, not the best thing. Now we go to the Lakers. The Lakers we've given them a lot of leeway. We've given them the benefit of the doubt a lot, and I think it's time to talk about them. They don't have Anthony Davis right now, but I still think it's a big deal. LeBron and Westbrook both had amazing days today, but it's the rest of the team is straight garbage. They get no help. Taylor Horton-Tucker it has been awful recently. He's only 22, yes. But they could have put him in the package for Russell Westbrook. They could have got so many other guys. Kuzma's playing so well this year, and you choose to keep Taylor Horton-Tucker. He's been awful this year. LeBron literally had to score 36 points, and they still lost. 30 from Westbrook, and they still lost. 9 rebounds, 9 assists for LeBron, as they got no help. Both of them had a phenomenal days, and when you look at the stat sheet and you see that, you normally think, win. No, they didn't. As another random guy who came out of nowhere and had an amazing day, Kamani Bates Diop off the bench with 30.7 rebounds and had 27 minutes scoring all of that. 25 from Larry Walker III, as Devontae White had 23. As I think the big one was Kamani Bates, as they couldn't stop him because it was kind of hard to know where he was coming from. He know his game, but he had a game for himself. As the Lakers just stunk. We all like Isaiah Thomas, yes. But the Spurs really took advantage of him on defense, setting screens to just get him away, as he didn't really get back really well on defense. LeBron James was literally going back and forth playing offense and defense and could not do it all himself, as Isaiah really needs to help out a bit, as the rest of their lineup also does too. Rondo had 0 points. DeAndre Jordan has moved himself to the third string center. They don't even have 3 centers, but he's down there. As the Lakers, I can talk more in depth of them later, but for now, that's all we've got. So next game, we have the Warriors versus Grizzlies. To start it out, what I need to say, 46 points from the Stephen Curry. Yeah, 8 made 3-pointers for himself today. Curry went 12 for 12 from the free throw line, which was big. 13 for 22 from the field goal, as he shot over 50%, as that's big for him. 8 for 14 from 3, only had 5 turnovers. As Draymond Green did help out, 8 points, 5 rebounds, 9 assists. Did have 5 turnovers though, but did help out on the assist and rebounding side. 22 from Gary Payton II, the quote-unquote mitten, as he showed out today as, again, another player who's showing out, not really that big of a guy, but played a pretty good game. John Morant with 21 points, Jaren Jackson Jr. with 20, and DeAndre Melton off the bench scored 20 for himself. Good game altogether for both teams, as Jordan Poole was out in this one. Stephen Curry just shooting lights out. The guy was stepping back, double step backs, hitting everything. He was going really deep, getting the big threes as Curry can throw his arm in celebration. As a team, the Warriors shot 47.5%, as they were amazing. 30 more rebounds than the Memphis Grizzlies, and had a higher free throw percentage, field goal percentage, as it really showed how good the Warriors have been this year, still without guys like Klay Thompson, Jordan Poole, and they are playing a team that's not awful in the Memphis Grizzlies. The Grizzlies have not been bad at all this year, as right now they're sitting 4th in the West. The Warriors are they are 8 games ahead of them, but the Warriors aren't playing a bad team. They get a big win against them, as it was just the Stephen Curry show, as he got some help from Gary Payton the second, but you cannot discredit the Grizzlies, as they played an amazing game, put up an amazing fight, 21 from Ja, but they just couldn't pull through. As I think the big one was the experience from Stephen Curry and the absolute phenomenal shooting, and it was just the amazing scoring in the fourth quarter, as they scored 10 more points. They got more in the second and the third, which was the big separator between the two teams. So now let's go to the staying in the Western Conference. We have the Nuggets versus the Hornets. LaMelo Ball wasn't really playing a ton in this one. Only 25 minutes for him, scored 16 points. But off the bench, Kelly Oubre Jr., another player who's coming off the bench and scoring another amazing day. I don't know how many there's been. I think 3 or 4 already. 23 from him off the bench. 12 from Jake McDaniels, P.J. Washington with 13, as 17 from Rozier and 16 from Bridges, as Jokic showed off today, 29 points and 21 rebounds. Yeah, he was amazing, but got no help. He got some help from 11-point games from Isaiah Rivers, Will Barton, Jay Green, and V. Cancer, but got nothing. He got literally nothing from the rest of his team. They did not show that they were out there to win, except for Jokic, as Jokic had a phenomenal shooting day by all means. He shot 13 for 34 from field goal. Didn't have the best 3-point shooting day. 6 for 1. Went 2 for 3 from free throw. Had 6 turnovers. But it doesn't matter. In 35 minutes, he just carried his team, and his team did not help him, as the Hornets win 115-107, as the Hornets moved to 17-17, and the Nuggets moved down to 15-16. The Nuggets have been out for a lot of guys for a while. Aaron Gordon's been out, Jamal Murray's been out, Michael Porter Jr.'s been out, and he's just been with a ton of bench players playing. Like Markieff Morris is out there starting. Will Barton's out there starting. Dan Frank Campazzo played 33 minutes today, had 12 points. Like, they need to mix up some guys to make a starting lineup, but you can't discredit them. They had a good game. Actually, Jokic had a good game, and they're sitting 8th in the Western Conference right now, tied for 7th actually, and only a few games behind the Lakers team. Also, right now the Clippers are better than the Lakers. Well, maybe we have a new king in LA. Also, the Clippers are without Kawhi Leonard, and they're still better than the Lakers. Who knows, man? As the Hornets are sitting in 9th in the East. They're tied for 8th with the Celtics right now. So now we go to Phoenix, Arizona, as the Phoenix Suns play the OKC Thunder in a surprisingly close-ish game. The Suns are the best team in the league right now. I think we can all agree with that. DeAndre Ayton has been phenomenal. Chris Paul, MVP conversation right now. Like, I think they've been better than last year in the playoffs. They kept the same team, and it's working. We all thought last year, this is going to be a fluke. Next year, they could be the 7th or 6th seed, 5th seed kind of team. No. They're the best team in the league right now. Devin Booker, 30.7 rebounds, 7 assists, 19 and 12 from DeAndre Ayton, 21 off the bench from Cameron Johnson. 16, 5, and 7 from Chris Paul, and you cannot tell me that's the best team in the league. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander did put on a show, though. 29 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists. And like a lot of players, he got no help. 17 from Giddey, and that was about it, right? As the Thunder lose 113-101, as the Thunder move to 11-20, as the Suns go to 26-5 on the year. The Suns have the best conference in the league. Best record in the league. The highest in their conference, only by a half game compared to the Warriors. A 5-game win streak right now, as they're miles ahead of the third place team and miles ahead of the rest of the league, as they can get the big win, as they shot really well from three, really well from the field, as they had more assists, more rebounds, highly contributed by guys like Chris Paul, Devin Booker, and Cameron Payne, as it was a team effort to get this one, and it was a big one to move their team as they can still stay in the number 1 spot in the league. And so now we go to the Eastern Conference. We have the Miami Heat versus the Pistons, as it was an amazing day all around for the for the Heat team. 26 from Max Strus, another guy who came out of the blue and scored 26. He had 41 minutes, this is because Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler, Victor Oladipo, PJ Tucker, Markieff Morris, all out. It's the Tyler Hero, Kyle Lowry show. Kyle Lowry, 21 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 26 in 41 minutes from Max Strus, 29 off the bench from Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero is my favorite for the 6th Man of the Year. Big 3 from Duncan Robinson. He only had 3 points on the day, though. Not the best. 15 from Gabriel Vincent, and 12 rebounds from Ovechkin, as the Heat can win by 3 points on a 112 win, as they go to 12-13, as the Pistons go to 5-26. The Pistons suck. We all know that. Now the Heat don't. 4th in the East, 1 game behind the Bucks and 2 behind the Bulls, as they don't play on Christmas, but that's not that big of a deal, as they still have a lot of time to get by. They can hope some teams can lose. They can move up soon, and I can see them being a contender right now. I think the big teams in the East that are contenders, the Nets, Bulls, Heat, and Bucks, I think all of those teams have a really good shot at the championship and played a really good game today, as the Pistons weren't terrible. 26 from Tyrese Lyles, another out of the blue player. 21 from Corey Joseph, out of the blue. Cade Cunningham was out today, which was the big one. Sadiq Bey had 23 and 10, and their bench gave them nothing. They got 4 players, technically, I'll count on Franzio Jackson with 19, who scored 20 points and got no help from their bench. I think we've heard that story a lot today. And finally, we have the Jazz versus the Timberwolves. Let's get it started. So, the Jazz are not a contender. I think they're a fringe contender right now, right? They're sitting not in a bad spot in the West, as they're 3rd in the West. Just 4 games behind the Warriors. Great. It's just, I don't see them going anywhere. They don't have the playoff experience. They don't have the championship experience, I guess, right? Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell, amazing players, but I can't see them making it in the playoffs. They have defense. They have offense. They are the number 1 team in offense in the league right now, but you go to the playoffs and it's a whole different game. They have a speed-up motion sort of offense, as they like to speed up the game, but in the playoffs the game slows down, as that's where it really hits them in a different way. As Gobert, first off, had 20 points and 17 rebounds, as a Donovan Mitchell with 28 today. Mike Conley was 17 and 16 from Joe Ingles off the bench. 33-point day for Monique Beasley, though, hitting every shot he got, as was 13 from Nigel Reed, 17 from Reed, and 19 from Russell, as the Jazz win 128 to 116 as they move to 22-9, and the Timberwolves move to 15-17. I think they had a good game. I just don't think they're going anywhere in the playoffs. All right, so that does it for our NBA recap today. Do you think the Lakers can bounce back from being to become a championship contender, or do you think they'll stay where they are the rest of the season? You tell me down in the comments. See you guys tomorrow. Have an amazing day. Bye.